Tom invited me to share my story with you. He said he would be speaking on forgiveness, and he said, just highlight some areas of forgiveness in your life. Okay? That's it. A few days later, he comes to me all nonchalant, like no big deal. I changed my message to one on repentance. So, here we are. You can laugh because you're sitting there. I would like to share a few verses of scripture with you and then share my story in light of those verses. So, the words of Jesus recorded in Matthew 11:28 and 30. Come to me, all who labor and are heavy laden. I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and lowly in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. Now listen to these same verses in the Message. Are you tired, worn out, burned out on religion? Come to me, get away with me, and you'll recover your life. I'll show you how to take a real rest. Walk with me and work with me. Watch how I do. Learn the unforced rhythms of grace. I won't lay anything heavy or ill-fitting on you. Keep company with me, and you'll learn to live freely and lightly. Learn the unforced rhythms of grace. While studying these passages, I read of how oxen were trained to work in the fields. The younger, inexperienced oxen are yoked together with older, experienced oxen who serves as a teacher or a master. The training is designed to literally teach the young ox how to walk together, work together with another ox. This is the invitation of our faith walk. Yoked together with Christ. Walk with me. Work with me. Watch how I do it. Learn the unforced rhythms of grace. I'm still very much in training with so much more to learn of his unforced rhythms of grace. My childhood was not an easy childhood. Not easy to speak about, and it may not be easy to hear about. But it is mine. It is what God wrote, and what he's using to train this stubborn, rebellious ox. The space of time this morning requires me to paint a picture for you using broad strokes. So if you find yourself left with questions, please seek me out. I'm willing to have deeper conversations. I am the fourth of 5 children born into a family of non-Christians. The atmosphere was not one of affection, comfort, tenderness, or openness, but rather closed, oppressive, controlled, emotionally abusive, and cold. When I was 9, we moved from a tiny rural town in north central Massachusetts. Yes, I'm originally from Massachusetts, don't worry, to the city of Indianapolis, Indiana. When I went from being a little girl who got sent to the principal's office for talking too much, to being a little girl who could not speak without being made fun of for her accent. It was during this difficult, lonely time when an older family member began to sexually abuse me. This time went on for several months, though not years, but it escalated and grew and would eventually include a friend of this family member who ultimately executed an act of rape against me. This attack was cut short by my father, who happened to be working out in the yard and walked past the window of the room we were in. When he rapped on the window, I distinctly recall snapping back into reality, and as my mind had attempted an escape, my body was frozen in fear. My heart saw my father and felt rescued, but I quickly noticed he was angry. He gestured for me to join him outside, and I obeyed. When I arrived at his side, he expressed his anger, hurt, and confusion by telling me I was no longer his little sweetheart, that he could not even look at me, and he sent me away to play with the neighborhood kids that had gathered across the street, and it was never spoken of again. This dark time of my life wildly shaped me. It drove me deep into hiding. I withdrew into myself, determined to make myself invisible. I felt I needed to protect myself, and my little 10-year-old mind believed the way I could do this was to always seek to be nothing, hiding in plain sight, hoping to not be seen. It didn't really work. By 18, I had endured 2 more rapes by 2 different men. One was a first date, my first date. The other, a boyfriend who did not receive my attempts to break up with me. At age 20, I began dating Eric. Within months, I moved from my parents' home and into an apartment with him. And shortly before I turned 22, we married and moved to Amarillo, Texas, where both our sons were born. This little family was my world. We would move around a lot through the years, and I became increasingly anxious and fearful. In my fear, I fought to maintain control of my world. I have traveled down the paths of self-protection and worry, isolation and avoiding. These became my well-worn paths. This ox sought to plow her own rows according to her own ideas of safety. I took my life into my own hands and held it tightly. I erected walls around my heart. I ran from nearly all conflict and sought to avoid everything I could that might cause someone to become angry with me or disappointed me. I did not want to be rejected and alone. I tolerated inappropriate treatment against myself and selfishly walked a path of self-protection that led me to cooperate with and participate in things that were not only contrary to God, but even myself. These were the things I did not agree with, but out of fear and or blindness and my own twisted ideas of safety, I followed my husband's lead, helpless, hopeless, and lonely. By year 16 of marriage, we had decided to divorce. While proceeding down this path, we ultimately decided to reconcile, and within months of this reconciliation, I attended the church service where I would accept Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. In about a year's time, we would move our family to the former NMH campus in Northfield, Massachusetts, where DLMD began the Northfield Seminary for Young Ladies. While serving on this campus, close to the time I began attending Grace 7 years ago, I held in my hands the Bible of Emma Moody, wife to D.L. Moody. Penned upon the page of 2 John, summing up the essence of its teaching, she had written, "Truth must not be sacrificed for love." They still ring loudly in my heart, for this is precisely what I had done throughout my marriage. I sacrificed truth in order to be loved, loved according to what I knew to be love. And without the truth, I avoided pushing toward Eric with the truth out of fear to myself. This was my well-worn path of self-protection, hiding, avoiding, trying to control my world, keeping it small and manageable. When we enter into the family of God through Jesus Christ, Paul tells us in Ephesians 4, verses 22 through 24, that we are called to put off the old self with its corrupt and deceitful desires, and be renewed in the spirit of our minds, putting on the new self, created after the likeness of God in true righteousness and holiness. The Holy Spirit had been leading me, calling me to walk a new path, and with Him is challenged my own ways. The thing is, new self ways, the new path is foreign and scary. My flesh desperately wanted to stick with what I knew, my old self ways, the well-worn path. But God loves us too much to leave us in bondage of our sin and lies. Those wrong beliefs, those thought patterns and behaviors that are contrary to Himself. John 8:31 and 32. If you abide in my word, then you are truly my disciples, and you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. In Isaiah 26:3, He promises us perfect peace that comes through trusting Him, and trusting Him can only come by stepping out in faith in response to the Holy Spirit's leading. It is by walking the new path where we are led into true healing and restoration. By the amazing grace of God, along this new path, I have faced many trials. Trials where He has used to drive me more deeply into Himself. Just about 3.5 years ago, after nearly 24 years of marriage, my husband left. I was on my own for the first time in my life. It was just me and Jesus. I think I could have easily filled this time this morning with the testimony of the steadfast love of God and what He has taught me of Himself over the past 8 months alone. Or yesterday, because yesterday was a really good day. These last few years have been some of my most challenging, devastating, and beautifully wonderful years where God has proven His faithfulness to me again and again. As He continues to train me up in trusting Him, despite my wriggling against His yoke. Now, back to Matthew 28:30 and the training of the oxen. The yoke is fastened to the 2 oxen differently. Around the neck of the young, inexperienced ox, it hangs loosely, while the older, experienced ox is cinched up tightly, that he alone would bear the burden of the weight. This is the invitation being yoked together with Jesus, the weight of our burdens resting upon His shoulders as we learn to walk together with Him.